I love to tell about is the Orlando Magic. Those of you from that area will know the Orlando Magic. So I said their biggest innovative thing they need to do is learn how to win. So because they used to win. When we started the lab, they used to win. So anyway, okay. We love the Orlando Magic. And that was the first, what we love about our lab embedded inside of a large hospital. It was the first embedded design thinking hospital in healthcare. The Orlando Magic is the first innovation lab in pro sports. And then we also had the privilege of designing an undergraduate degree at Rollins College, the first in sustainable entrepreneurship and innovation in undergraduate degree in the nation. So it's been fun to be on this journey. And we've learned a lot, and we're still learning. So, how we built or started film. I'm going to tell you 3 things, and I'm going to pitch to Stefan, and then he'll tell you how we grew it out, and then Janelle will follow with how we shared it. And again, we're still learning, and we view ourselves as prototypers, so we all have a lot to learn. So, recognizing a need. I was an educational psychologist before I got into this work, and I worked in all levels of education and 10 years in higher ed. And I recognized a big need. There were people who were passionate about coming in for education, faculty passionate about teaching, and people who worked in an education system passionate. But as time went on, they lost their passion. They weren't aligned. I saw kids dropping out, faculty getting discouraged, parents at their wits' end. What do we do? Our innovations or our interventions weren't really working that well. And so I said, there has to be more. There has to be something more we can do to help people. Because I've always had a passion that people align with their true gifts. And if they can align with their gifts and develop their gifts, they will give their gifts to the world. And if you don't give your gift to the world, no one can give it for you, and it'll be lost to the world. So as an educational psychologist, that was the big passion I had. So I became very frustrated at just seeing kids drop out. Retention rates were low. And so I had the privilege one day of being in Chicago at a very large convention, and the speaker was DeWitt Jones, a National Geographic's photographer, who was sharing his journey, the life of a photographer. And he said, I've sat in canoes for 3 days, crunched down, waiting for the perfect hippopotamus video or photograph, or I've sat in trees, legs of sleep, waiting for that perfect lion to come. But he said, I loved every minute of it because I was aligned with my passion. I wanted to show the world what nature looked like. He said, I felt so honored I could really develop my creative gift. And he told these amazing stories, and at the end he said, I feel people are so disconnected and so many people don't get to do that. So I was sitting all the way in the very back of this huge auditorium of about 50,000 people, so I could see. And he said to the audience, what if someone gave you the opportunity to really tap into your creativity and show it to the world? Would you take it? Stand up. In a moment, everybody just jumped to their feet. It was such a powerful scene to see that from where I was sitting. And I just said, oh my gosh, this is the link, people connecting with your creativity. So I went out, I called my husband, and I said, Dan, I think I have the answer to my yearning. I want to learn about creativity, how creativity works. I did not know really much about it. I knew psychology, but some people think that's creative, but it's, no, psychology's good. So I said, I have to learn more about it. So I had the fantastic blessing to be able to get into a doctoral program, and since I already was an educational psychologist, I could go at more of an advanced standing. And I was honored to have this opportunity. So I studied creativity, how creativity affected people, and how it transformed leadership, therefore transforming people. And when people are acting in their creative realm, they are being leaders. And so I just said, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I just went. And so the passion was actually I just trusted the passion. And towards the end of my doctoral program, again, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, but I knew it had to help people. And so at the end of my doctoral program, I wanted to run some creativity events. I called them Cafe U's. I ran the Shakespeare Theater in Orlando, got a team around me, created these experiences that people could come and really just experience creativity. On a more of a cognitive level, not coloring or making potholders, which is good also, but this was different. And there were several Florida Hospital executives there, and afterwards they said, wow, this is amazing. Why don't we bring this to Florida Hospital? Because at that moment, or just weeks before, Florida Hospital had made the decision to really create some planks for innovation. Because up to that point, they'd been a community hospital. And so around 2000, this is around 2010, 2011, they said, we're going to really, they assigned a chief innovation officer, but they weren't sure where to go. So they said, well, why don't you bring this to Florida Hospital? Well, in my doctoral program, I'd been studying innovation labs, which there weren't that many at that point in time, believe it or not. Since 2010 till now, they've just blossomed everywhere. So I said, well, this is kind of a fun little superficial event, and I've been studying innovation labs. I don't know exactly how to start one, but I would think that might be better. So the passion with the need just connected. So we said, well, let's just start. So we did not really know how it was going to work. I tapped into what I'd learned, and so there was a few things I'd learned. And I said, okay, we need to embed it because we can't have people go to, in a hospital or a big business, if someone has to go to the parking garage, get in their cars, drive down, drive out, go somewhere, it doesn't work. And I visited a few other labs or places that actually had to do that, and they were always saying it's hard to get people here. So I said, if we could embed it. And another thing that labs did is it was very hard to get into them. You had to take classes, and you had to pay high fees, and you had to know this and that, and know somebody and have a need that they felt was really important. And so a lot of times it took people to get into an innovation lab a year, 2 years, 3 years. So I said, what if we embed it, have a low barrier, easy access, rooted in design thinking, that's very easy innovation model, and then feed the people when they come, and the executive said, and let them stay on the clock. So people said, oh my gosh, you guys are so stupid. Everyone's gonna flock in this lab. They can eat and stay on the clock. Who's not gonna be here? So we said, again, let's just try it, and if it's not working, I felt that one thing that would be helpful for this, if I did not become an employee of Florida Hospital, and same with all of us here, that if it didn't work, we could close it down, everybody could go on their own way and be happy. Well, sort of happy. So we just started it, and we just started going. We got some people in the hospital to help us. We called them the faculty. We created an environment that was very different from a healthcare environment, and we started we said, let's just have the 4 priorities. It had to either improve healthcare, improve physician partnerships, help us grow and fully develop, or transform culture. And pretty much anything could fall under there. And the president said, we're saying no to nothing for 2 years. We just started it, and we were amazed. I couldn't even believe it. I felt very blessed how people started coming. We started training more people. We just committed, we're gonna follow the journey. And it sounds easy to follow a journey, but you have to really commit. And every day, recommit, because sometimes things happen. Even with my program, that when I graduated with my doctoral degree, I really didn't know where I was gonna go with it. So follow the journey. So what happened then is we were going for 18 months, and then we got nominated for an award. So we were so excited. So a bunch of people, we all went down to St. Petersburg to get this award, a big event. And after we had the award, we sat down and said, yeah, we are innovators. And then the keynote speaker got up and said, hey, you guys from healthcare right over there. You know, if you don't know what Lowe's, Boeing, and Walmart are doing, you're already behind the 8 ball, because you're a fee-for-service hospital, and these guys have just gone to value-based medicine. Okay, if you know anything about healthcare, that's big. It's just a different way of paying. And they said, if you don't know about it, you already have been disrupted. So I would say to you, and the president was with us, I would get to Boeing as soon as you can, Orlando to Seattle. Get there, talk to them. Because what they were doing is they totally transformed the way they were paying. They these companies contacted big hospitals in the United States. Florida Hospital was a little hurt. They didn't get a call from them. And so for example, Boeing would pay Cleveland Clinic for each of their employees $5,000 a year for their heart, orthopedics, or transplant needs. That's it. And so banking that they wouldn't have everyone needing those services. Totally bypassing insurances, they were telling, the company was telling the hospital how much they'd pay. Huge disruption. But I want to say we had set ourselves up in a way with the Innovation Lab that we were able to work through it. And so we followed the journey. And I think that's a big thing we learned, is that no matter what happens, just follow the journey. So we started going along, and then as we followed that journey, we started realizing there was way more opportunity than we could handle and didn't know how to handle. And so that's where Stefan came in. Stefan came in as an entrepreneur, big executive in Europe, and also he was the global CEO at GE, who had actually heard about our lab through a project. And he had a vision much bigger than we had, how we could go global. We didn't have that knowledge or that skill, and so then we brought somebody in and became part of our team. So it's Stefan.
Thanks, Karen. So when I saw the Innovation Lab for the first time, I was a global COO of the MRI business of GE. It's a 1.7 billion business. And I was totally amazed about a project that was run by Phil and GE about better treatment of women with breast cancer. So when I observed the project, when I went to Orlando, I saw the Phil that was embedded. I sensed that you can get empathy, that they are looking for unspoken and spoken needs, that you could co-create something and co-innovate something, and that was pretty unique. So in my career, I've never seen that. I've never seen so many passionate people. And I said, wow, that is a learning, a teaching moment here. And I decided by myself, okay, I will just jump. I'll just quit my job and start making it bigger, connecting with more companies. So that was a kind of a bold move, but it really paid off. There was no safety net, and we didn't know what's going on because we had no real pathway. There was no kind of manual how to connect with companies, but I connected with some companies. We had the first projects coming into Phil. We worked a kind of structure that helped the companies to connect with us. So it was a completely uncharted territory that we had, and it was a big fun, and still is. And therefore, it was a great experience for me as somebody who is kind of the oldest in the lab. With some executive experience, it was completely new. So I started with some companies that had been coming in, and at some point of time, GE said, oh wow, you know what you're doing is great at the lab. So they committed for a 3-year contract and 1.8 million in projects. It was a good start then. And since then, we have added a lot of companies, from small companies, entrepreneurs, to mid-size, big multinational, multi-billion companies that are all co-creating and co-innovating with us. I think we have a chart later where you can see all these things, and that is, if you go one back, you will see the short video with GE.
The Florida Hospital Innovation Lab, or PHIL, is a place where badges come off and minds open up. Their methods and outcomes have recently been attracting some big names in the industry. GE Healthcare has become the first to sign up for a $1.8 million 3-year collaboration effort.
Yeah, and the guy on the right, that is the new CEO of GE right now, since about 3 days, John Flannery. So he came to Orlando and signed that contract. And since then, we are co-creating and co-innovating with a lot of companies.
And one thing that happened here that was a real learning process for me is when we started this, we said, how are we going to do this? And Stefan said, let's start with what we have. And so he had companies he knew, and we thought we were going to have to go out and just beat the bushes. So a real key point in entrepreneurship is start with what you have. And then he had
yeah, and what's really important for entrepreneurs is that you have a high, I would call it a say-do ratio. So don't overpromise. So when we work with a company and we have committed to bring 5 top physicians to co-create with them, we try to bring 7 or 8. So we always try to over-deliver. Yep, that's right. And we never overpromise. So it is a give and take, and not a take and give. So when you give something, you will get something. And that is a core of our success in the Innovation Lab. But nevertheless, since we are growing bigger and bigger with more and more companies that are coming, we felt that the communication with the companies is pretty okay, and is growing, but the communication with entrepreneurs, with people that are interested in innovation, with people that are really in for disruption, for digitalization. That was a gap in our communication, and therefore we had the pleasure to meet Janelle, who helped a lot.
Right. We had to go to a young person to actually get technology savvy.
So this is when I entered Karen's team and I joined her. So she had already built an outstanding product, and Stefan had really worked to grow the business globally by following the steps that they previously said in building. So just finding that intersection of your passion and a need, and just going, just starting, not worrying, following the journey. And Stefan also in just creating your own path, starting with what you know, and his high say-do ratio. So by the time I joined the team, it was working very well. And it was serving an incredible need in Florida Hospital, and it was connecting with a lot of these big partners in terms of a lot of medical technology and medical services. And so, but unfortunately, not many people outside of that realm of medicine really understood or even knew what Phil was. And the reality is that Phil can serve everybody, because we all need to be innovative, we all need to be creative, and we all are innovative and creative, but we don't often know how to tap into it. So when I joined the team, we recognized that this need was there, and we realized that we needed to share our message in a different way if we really wanted people like you, just anybody that's, scrolling through their social media, that's looking for ways to take their business to the next level, and we wanted to connect with them. So here's a look at one of our first attempts to share our message and our services.
This is before Janelle came.
This is very early on.
And we were proud of this too. The purpose for an innovation lab is to, it's a workshop place, a lab, where a lot of people can come together and problem solve in a new way.
I definitely think that it'll take some of us out of our comfort zone, but really to make us think in a different way, and really to help each other learn and see things in a way that we don't normally think or see them.
There'll be So we were proud of that. We thought, wow, we'd really done something great. Then Janelle came along.
So the first step in sharing your product is to actually share a coherent message. That video is incoherent. It leaves viewers confused. That's if they actually watched it to the end. Well, for sure they probably watched it on double speed.
And that hurt our feelings. Yeah, that.
But people watch that video, they leave, they're confused, they have no idea who Phil is, what Phil can do for them, how Phil can serve them, and it totally missed the mark. It wasn't a coherent message. And this is a problem that us entrepreneurs have, and I know this from my own journey in sharing a coherent message, but as entrepreneurs, we're so deep in our startups. Think you guys maybe a little obsessive? Maybe? No? I know I am. That's all I think about. It's all I work about. It's all the time. So I could talk for hours about what my business is, and I'm a teacherpreneur, and I have an online store selling lesson plans and resources, and I could talk about wellness education for days. You can ask my husband.
Or us. You can ask us too.
And I'm sure this is the same with you. You're so deep in it, you talk about it, you know your business plan, you know every element of it. But it's actually when we're so deep that we kind of can't connect with people outside of it. It's really difficult, and I'm sure that you've had this before. You share in great detail, and people are like, you know what I mean? Come on. No one, am I the only person that has encountered this? I think that we all have. And so that is really the first step in that sharing a coherent message, really paring it down to a simple, concise, keep it simple, get rid of the technical jargon. Okay, as people learn more, you can introduce them to that, but at the beginning, you need to keep it simple. You need to tell them very clearly, what is the problem I'm solving for you, and then keep it concise. So as we learn this through our process, we learn from our early mistakes, we have refined our message, and we're continually refining our message and understanding our end user and our ideal customer better. We found a way to share Phil in a much more meaningful way. So now I'm going to share a video of one of our most proud videos about explaining what Phil, the Florida Hospital Innovation Lab, is.
And these are two of our team members in this video.
Hi, welcome to Phil. Oh, I'm not Phil. This is Phil. The Florida Hospital Innovation Lab. Yeah, that Phil. Located in the heart of Florida Hospital, one of the largest hospital systems in the United States, more than 4 million patients are treated yearly by over 2,000 doctors. Okay, that's big. 206 projects and over 2,000 healthcare workers, educators, and engineers come through here. Here we can rapidly prototype and test your ideas with doctors, nurses, patients, and other healthcare professionals, all who can give you real-time feedback, which equals rapid cycle innovation for faster, better, cheaper solutions. So is Phil's process effective? What's up? Well, did KT find 4 new ways to use their existing products after 1 day at Phil? This is not the old way of doing things. Gaining end user empathy and rapid prototyping in a real life setting is the future. How about the other 206 projects that have come through? One company innovated new solutions after observing surgeries and connecting with OR staff. They said they learned in 3 days what might have taken 3 years. At this project here, they cut out 32 days out of the cancer care process just by gaining empathy from patients, doctors, and technicians. Oh, at this project here, they saved over $1 million just by gathering empathy from patients and ED staff, and it earned some healthcare workers an award. Oh yeah. In a nutshell, Phil allows you to connect with your end users, to learn how your ideas and product actually work, not how you think they work, or don't work. For example, Phil may seem a little crazy. Would you rather develop your ideas hoping your end user will like it? Or getting direct feedback from your end user and knowing whether they like it or not? Let's go. The best new insights come from the front line, where the action is. That's empathy in action. The really exciting thing about the Florida Hospital Innovation Lab is Phil can create and hold a space for innovators to discover the truth. Do you desire direct real-time feedback from your end user? You can keep doing it the normal way, invest lots of time and truckloads of money on long cycle innovation to produce products that might work. Or you can join the new wave of rapid cycle innovations rooted in deep empathy. The future of innovation is here.
And that is actually a video that Stefan uses a lot to present Phil to these global companies that he's working with. And so the next step in sharing your message is the end user is your best friend. They're your BFF, they're your bestie. If you don't completely understand and know your ideal customer, that's your end user, that is who you are creating, whatever your startup is. It could be a house cleaning service, it could be a private jet company, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You have to know your end users so well that you're their best friend and that the feeling is mutual. So they know that they have complete confidence that whatever you're creating is serving the purpose that they need. This is something that cannot be stressed enough. And if you have probably started in your own journey, I'm not sure where you guys are in your journey, but I'm sure you've encountered this thought before. So understand your end user's life, understand their struggles, and be there to serve them and to solve these problems that they have. So it's only with this deep level of empathy that you're going to actually be able to provide meaningful products and services for your end user. And then you'll also be able to solve problems before they even knew they existed. And it's just going to be this cycle of you building more and more trust, them building more and more trust for you. So here's an example of how we've done this with Karen's own company as it's grown. So earlier this year, we created the Young Professionals Guide to Making a Difference at Work. And no one specifically came up to Karen and said, I need this guide. I'm struggling at work. I don't know how to stand out. I don't know how to make a difference. I'm just a young college graduate. I have all this passion, but I can't do anything to be seen or noticed. So no one came up to Karen and told her that. Rather, from her work within Florida Hospital and her work with these businesses that Phil has as global partners, from her going to these different organizations and being an innovation consultant and talking to them about their needs, she recognized this huge need, and she recognized this end user, and it just emerged. So the young professionals entering the workforce, that is her.
Right. I just want to share. Are you going to show it? The little part?
Well, that's coming up.
Okay.
In a little bit.
Okay, let me say something before you show it, though.
Okay.
Just warn me.
Okay. So she observed and observed this population, and she identified this profound need. So if she wasn't actually out there actively working to understand her end user and to understand the field that she wants to serve, we would have never created this product. And from this product, this is just a free product that she has on her website. She has gotten other people have seen how much she can help them, and we're actually, in the process of maybe partnering with some people stemming just from this, how we created a product that people didn't even know they needed, and when they found it, they were like, oh my goodness. So know your end user. They have to be your best friend, and you have to be their best friend. And then the last step, oh sorry, I'm clicking here, but not there. The last step of sharing your startup is be authentic. You are creating something unique. You're a disruptor in the world. You saw a need that no one else saw, and you are creating something to solve that problem. And so be authentic. Stay true to that passion and that need that you first identified and that you have followed along the journey, and be genuine, because people are repelled by disingenuine people, right? We can think about it. We see a commercial and we can tell, oh, they're just doing this for whatever reason. This is not a true message. You don't buy their product now, right? I think we can all think of this. A professional athlete does something or a celebrity does something and it feels super disingenuine, and we're like, nope, we're done. We're done with you. We're not going to watch your movies. We're not going to, buy the products you endorse. So you have to stay authentic and true to who you are. And I'm going to show you an example of this. I think Karen would like to.
I would like to say something. We had great plans for this. We went to Vancouver, where Janelle lives, brought a film guy. We were going to go out in the Stanley Park, or where that park is in Vancouver, and we were going to be at a bridge, and it was going to be beautiful. We get there, and it starts snowing. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. We said, this has got to let up. It didn't. So finally we said, you know what? We got to just start. We're just going to follow the journey. So we went into Janelle's place where she was living, her home, her and her husband. It is in a basement, and we shot it, and the film guy did wonders with it because the lighting was bad, but we said, you know what? We've got to do it. And so that was an encouragement I want to have to you. Sometimes it can't be perfect, but just start and let it go from there. Anyway, you'll see what I mean when you see this.
Yeah, and done is better than perfect.
So this is a video of Karen's authentic approach to reaching her end user.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you come in. I just said that as a little joke. Hello, welcome to the Young Professionals Guide for Making a Difference at Work. It's been designed for you, young professional. As an innovation architect and someone who's built innovation labs, I've worked with a lot of young people, and I notice they are extremely smart, dedicated, and want to make a difference. Sometimes they get lost. So this course has been designed to give you 5 mindsets that can help you make a difference. Say yes and, seek collaboration, reframe perspectives, embrace feedback, and start now. So come on board with us. This course can fundamentally shift the way you see yourself and the impact you might have. So, it took a little courage to put it out there, actually. But it's been amazing how many young people, because I really saw young people just getting sucked up into corporate and just kind of losing their voice. People have really listened and watched this, which was kind of amazing to me. But yeah, Janelle and the film guy put it together so we could share our message.
So this video is completely Karen. The genuineness is just pouring out of the video, and you feel like you're just sitting on the couch next to her. And if you come up and talk to her afterwards, you will see that that's completely her personality. It's completely authentic and her, and you feel that when you watch it. So your authentic self may look very different than Karen's authentic self, than Stefan's authentic self, than me, but that doesn't matter. Only matters is that you're staying true to yourself and that you are staying just committed to what you got in the game for. So as you share your message, just remember, make it coherent. Don't get too overly technical. Make it simple and easy to explain in one sentence. Make it easily digestible. 2, the end user needs to be your bestie, your BFF. Know them. If you don't spend time knowing your end user, you will fail. It won't work because you will be creating a product that doesn't actually serve a need. So if you want to be relevant and sustainable, you have to know your end user. And then finally, be authentic.
So recapping, starting, I recognized the need and aligned it with my passion. You don't have to know everything before you start, so I just started, and then we followed the journey, knowing that everything is a failure in the middle, but we followed the journey.
Yeah, create your own path. Done is better than perfect. Start with what you have and what you know. So you know a lot of people, you have your passion, and you are convinced that you hit something, that you are on something, and have a high say-do ratio, so don't overpromise, but overdeliver.
And then I just said this. So share a coherent message, know your end user, be authentic. And I just can't reiterate enough, find where your passion meets that need and just go, because it's hard work. Being an entrepreneur is endless. This summer I have worked probably almost 12 hours a day trying to publish a health curriculum, but because I'm completely aligned to my passion, the energy is there, you don't get burnt out. Don't waste your time on something that's not aligned to your passion.
And we all shared the experience to jump into uncertainty,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
So,
which I'm sure you guys are feeling,
right.
Depending, even if you are established, you're still uncertainty, right? You just jump, you grow, be like Amazon. Just keep going.
Sort of.
Sort of like Amazon.
So we want to leave you with this thought that just when the opportunity presents itself, don't take yourself too seriously and jump. Watch this. So thank you so much, and we hope you gained something from our story, and we're very happy to be here with you. And I think there were a few minutes for questions, if you have any questions.
There she is.
Can we give it up for Florida's Innovation Lab?
Yeah, happy for you guys.
So I'm pretty stoked about this part of our fruition experience. It's when we get to interact real time with our experience-driven insights from our real-life entrepreneurs. So there's a mic out in the back. If you look behind you, there's a mic set up, so be ready with questions. I had one. I know that you've reiterated in your presentation the importance of just starting. But what about those of us who are in established systems or already in process within a current business? How do we inspire? How do we break outside the mold and include more innovative thinking?
Well, we are very saturated as a United States and Canada that with the myth of the Western world that we have to know everything before we start. Rational thinking is best, and nothing is connected. But all those really aren't right when you get into a disruptive world. So we say you don't have to know everything before you start, and everything is connected, and rational thinking is good, but not enough. So if you have a passion about something, you see a need, start making a movement towards there, and know that surprises will come. But we have found over and over and over if people just start the kind of like the Lord blesses you, the universe starts blessing you, and people are inspired by movement. Movement inspires people. And so just start, because you'll never know. Even if you knew everything, it would be different if you started. And when you start, the journey will not always be what you think.
Well, and in connection to that, I think that if you don't just start, you might not ever get to the end goal where you are now or where you hope to be. Because the reality is that as you start and you iterate and you prototype and you take the empathy, every time it changes. And it's really only through that process that you can actually create something that's going to be sustainable and relevant. So if you just got to start,
Right.
and just be willing to listen to every bit of feedback and be willing to adjust and keep moving forward.
And what we know from discussion with a lot of entrepreneurs is that they start challenging their perception. That's what all the companies are doing that are coming to the lab. They have a perception about a product, they have a perception that they have a solution for a certain problem, but then they probably find out that the problem is not here, it's there, and the problem's not that big, and the solution is here. So try it out, challenge your perception, and keep your existing job for a certain period of time, because it's a lifeline in case your perception is not that good.
Keep your day job.
Keep your day job as long as needed, and then jump.
And don't be surprised if things change.
Because they will.
And and always remember, everything's a failure in the middle, and forgiveness is core to innovation. You have to be willing to forgive yourself and people as you move along.
Repeat that last line. What is core to innovation?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness is core to innovation.
Yes.
Yes, because it keeps you open, keeps you moving. It's an inspiring journey. I like to say that innovation is like salvation so much. Jesus was the great innovator, and he taught. I mean, when you learn innovation theory and creative theory, it's Jesus' message.
And we have that
Wow.
oftentimes
It is.
that people try out some things in a lab and end up in a total different spot. So
Right.
we want to fail fast and cheap, if possible.
Got it. Fail fast. Now, the light is right in my eye, so I really can't tell. Is there a line?
Right. We don't know if
We
someone's
have a
out there.
question? Go for it.
I do. Hello, and thank you so much for your presentation, which was so insightful. Specifically to Karen, as you're speaking to young professionals who are within systems, I would imagine that you're encountering generational differences that make communicating the need or desire for innovation difficult. How would you counsel younger professionals on the method to communicate the desire for innovation or seeing things in new ways to other generations?
So how do you communicate with them on? It's
Wanting
so
to
funny not being able to see you at all. There's a voice coming out of these lights.
I could see
We can probably move the mic over.
Well, but so you're asking how to communicate with this multi-generational?
The desire. the need
Correct,
for
and the one,
the need for-
the desire
Oh.
for innovation or seeing things in a new way.
Right. Well, the beauty is that I've learned everybody wants to innovate and everybody is creative. And when people are really acting in their creative way, their natural leadership skills come forward. And I have, so some of my theories, I feel sorry when I see young people, a lot of young people starting in where we're seeing in corporate America that is driven, get to the top, gets next promotion, just get there, just live in 10 years of just kind of benign spaces so you can get to that next promotion. It's pretty prevalent. So I've actually had a passion to say, are you interested in something? Try it. See if you can expand in your department something if they can't go out on their own, which it's perfectly okay. We need people in companies. So give space. Will your boss bring them to Phil? Can we work out something with you? And I have found that when a lot of young people start getting some ideas that helping their directors understand that it's not a threat to the director. Because when you're in a hierarchical situation, it's, to me, it drains the life out of, not the people at the top, but the people at the bottom. Well, the people at the top too struggle, but in other ways. And so to keep young people interested in having a voice, not being afraid to speak up, not just be yes people. So some things like teaching them a yes and theory, or how to collaborate, and I'm talking about collaboration in ways that's just not sitting and working at the same table, but having a mindset before you arrive at a place to collaborate, so that you actually are very interested in learning, unlearning, and relearning, because that's really what we need. Is what we learn, we need to unlearn, but then relearn. And that's, I think, the heart of collaboration. And to get young people to realize that they can make a difference, and that they don't have to just fly against their boss, but they can actually use language that opens up space that actually supports their boss. Some people are very fortunate to have bosses that say, yeah, you guys rock. Let me hear what you have to say. Most time it's not that way. And so we have a program actually in Phil called the Samurai Program that Florida hospitals let us do, and it's employees that are salaried. We really target young people, and we take them through a training program on innovation, design thinking, how to facilitate, how to lead. And we've had a lot of interest, and we run it 3 times a year. It takes about 3 months to go through. They don't come for full 3 months. I mean, they're coming like 1 day a week, and then they do some assignments, and then we take them through. It's just really an exciting program. We've had wonderful feedback from people telling us that this has been such a blessing, and we've had a lot of people who go through this get promoted. In fact, that's one of our downsides. The people that come into Phil, they get promoted so high, they get too busy. So but anyway, it's just, I am so into following the journey when I don't know the answer sometimes.
I think one thing she said, though, really simple, is just starting to integrate things like saying yes and that's a very easy thing you can do. So basically, when people share ideas, don't say no but, say yes and it opens the conversation. And I think that if you're lower in the hierarchy, just by modeling that to the people you're working with, it can slowly show them that, oh, there's space for innovation, oh, there's space for collaboration, and it's 2 words, incredibly easy.
And yes is very
powerful.
simple. It doesn't mean you agree with everything, because people say, well, I can't say that. Yes just means you're going to suspend negative judgment, and means you're going to stay in the conversation. You're going to add to it, and you might be adding new things. So yes and does not mean you agree with everything. It's just a way to keep people in the conversation, because conversation is still the best problem-solving tool. And when conversations happen, things move.
Yeah.
So I hope that made
Absolutely
sense.
loaded. Stefan, did you have a last comment?
Well, I think it's an interesting time, because based on internet and all the media that we serve, you can really be visible. And if you find something that serves a need, if you find a solution, a creative solution, that is always appreciated. People are curious to find that, and people are approachable, and they want that. And we had a conference recently where people said, okay, what's coming next? And we said, yeah, something different. There's always something. Digitalization is connected to industries. We see big disruption in the automotive industry. We are just cooperating with the automotive industry, a big player there, to find something new that is related to autonomous driving and healthcare and wellness. So there are so many areas where you can connect with people and find something new and create something that's just amazing.
Amazing times. Innovation Lab, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. This was